Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Adrian and today we are going to continue our web scraping journey and we're going to scrape some data from Facebook. I'm sure you've come across some promotional posts from businesses where they ask you to like the post, share the post and follow their business Facebook page, and then if you do all those three you are eligible to win a prize, and that prize can either be a cash prize or some discount to some of the products they sell or some free products even. Now imagine you as one of these business owners have finished one of these promotional posts and a lot of people have engaged with your post. Say like 500 people have liked it and 500 people have shared it as well, and there are over 700 people that like your page. Now imagine the amount of time you need to go through to have a look and see if all the people that have liked, shared and followed your page, who of them will be in all three of those lists. And then after you've determined the people that have applied or the people that have engaged sufficiently with that post, how you then need to go and select a winner. Now imagine if you do that manually, that can take a lot of time. Luckily, with web scraping, we can get the names of the people who liked your post, the people who shared the post and the people who follow your page in a matter of seconds. And then using Python's list capabilities, we can quickly see who is in all three of those lists and randomly select one or more winners. So if you would have done it manually, it would have taken you forever. But now with this code that I'm going to show you, it'll take a matter of minutes to determine the winner. Right, let's get started. So for this video, I'm just going to use an example post to show you how to get the names of people who liked the post, the names of people who shared it, and then also how to get the names of the people who follow your page. Now, the names of people who likes and shares a post is public knowledge, so it's quite easily to select any post and just have a look and see who likes it and who shared it. Now, for my example, I'm going to use a post from Bristol Waste. And you can see this pretty picture of a nice ginger cat laying in the, or basking in the glorious British sun on top of a garden waste bin. Now, if I click on this post, a pop-up window will show, enlarging the photo as well as listing on the side all the comments, as well as who's liked it, who shared it, how many comments there are. And then because I want to know the people who've engaged or liked or loved the post, I click again. And then another window appears listing all the names of the people that have liked this post. Now, Facebook's HTML to get all this pretty pop-up windows and all this formatting done is quite complex, and it's difficult to scrape this data or get the correct data that you need. So luckily there is a more dumbed down version of Facebook that we're going to use, and it's called MBasic Facebook. So if we go to the post URL at the top and we click on it and we just go and we change the www to mbasic.facebook.com and we press enter, you can see the interface is much more simpler. It's not all the fancy little HTML formatting. And then if we click again on the likes of this post, you will see a list is thrown out with no fancy formatting. It's a web page on its own, but it's only listing 10 people's names. And if you click the see more below, it'll list more. If we look at the URL of this post, you can see there's a limit equals 10. That basically tells us that it's only going to display 10 names. Now we know this post was like approximately 107 times, so we can just go and change that 10 to 150. And if we press enter, that list has expanded to basically everyone that is engaged with this post. So now that we've got all the names on the web page, we can easily go and scrape these names from this web page. If you haven't watched my previous post on web scraping, I highly suggest you go have a look at it. The link to the video is in the description below. But essentially what it boils down to, if you want to scrape any data from a web page, you're going to need two libraries. And one of them is requests. So we're going to start off by say import requests, and also beautiful soup, which is used to eliminate some of the unwanted HTML to ensure that we get to the data that we want. The first thing when web scraping data is to get all the HTML content of the web page and store it in a variable. And we're going to store it in a variable page. And then we're going to paste the HTML code of the post that we want to scrape all the data from. That was the one that we just saw with the list of people who's liked Bristol Wastes post. Now, if we save it and we just quickly have a go and see what the HTML looks like, and we run the script and we change it to be interactive, so we put a little I there and we say print page.content, you'll see it lists all the HTML data. If we look at the top of the HTML data, you can clearly already see in the head there is a title, login to Facebook, which is not what we asked for when we scraped it. And it looks like we got blocked by Facebook with a login page, meaning that we first need to actually log in to Facebook before we can go and scrape the data. Even though if we go to the browser, I can access the names, meaning I've already logged into Facebook. When we use the requests library from Python and we use the method get the HTML data, we still need to log in using the requests library. It's a different session that we open, and thus we need to log in first before we can get to this web page. So we can edit our code a bit, and the request library gives you the capability of sending your login name and password, and this can be done using the following code. So with the request library, we create a session, and then in the session we give Facebook our username and password, and that is contained in this command here. Now we need to create this payload or the username and password, and that can be done by creating a dictionary. So we create this variable payload, and we have an email and a pass keys for the dictionary, and then this will be your username and password for Facebook. I've created a separate Python script that contains my username and password, and we can say from, and I call it secrets, so from secrets import username and password. Now you can go and you can create a new file called secrets, and then you can just say username equals, and then your username will be here. For Facebook, that is usually your email address, and then password will be your password. So you just create a secrets.py script with your email address and your password as text, and then in your main script you just call it saying that from the secrets script file import username and password, and then it will be used here in our payload. We are also going to tell requests that it needs to use a login, or needs to first go to a login URL, which we specify as facebook.com/login, and then give that URL the necessary data to log us into Facebook. And then once it's done that, it can now go and get the requests, or it can request the HTML content of the web page that we want, which we've listed here. So with that all done, we can now have another go at running the script and seeing if we can get the HTML data that we want. Now we can print out the content and see if we have successfully been able to log in. You can see there's no login to Facebook anymore, which means we've successfully scraped the HTML data of the web page, which lists all the names of the people who've liked this post. Now the next step is to go and dive into this HTML data, zoom in to the names. By using Beautiful Soup, we will be able to extract the names from that HTML code, that chaos, and put it into a list, which we can use later. If we go back to our Facebook page and we right click to inspect the code, and if we go and we click our little button there at the top and we select, for instance, this name here, we click it, you will see it automatically goes and lists where this is. And if we expand this, you can see there is a link to this person's profile, and there is text with the person's name, and it's enclosed in an h3 tag as well as a class BJ. So those two we can use to tell Beautiful Soup to zoom into there and only extract the data there, and then the name of the person will be contained in that data. So let's have a go at doing that now. You can use Beautiful Soup to take all that HTML data and put it in another variable, which we will just be calling soup. And then from there, we will go and zoom into the data that we need. So next we can get all the names of the people who've liked the post and put it into an iterable list with soup.findAll. And we know that the name is in the HTML tag h3 and the class is BE. And then if we go and we want to see all these names, we can list them in the command prompt with a for loop, and we can tell Python to only print the text content of the name variable. And there is the list of all the people who have liked that post. If you go to the first one, you can see it's Ben James. And then if we go, you can see the first one is Ben James. So that has done it correctly. So we can go and all these names we can now put in a list named, for instance, people who have liked the post. That is great. One list down, 2 to go. We were able now to get the names of all the people who have liked the post in question. Now we're going to use the same method to get a list of all the people who have shared it. The only difference in the coding is the tags and classes that we're going to give the coding to have a look for the names in the HTML content. Let's see how we can do that. If we go back to our post in the mbasic.facebook.com, you will see there's nowhere to click on to see the people that have shared this post. So we will need to upgrade our Facebook a bit from mbasic to just the normal m.facebook.com, which is the mobile site. And if we click enter, you can see it has changed a bit. And now we will be able to see here, just underneath the amount of people that's liked it, there is a shares. And you can see 31 people have shared it. So we're just going to click on that. And there is a list of people. Now, even though 31 people have shared it, there is not 31 people here. I do not know why. That maybe people have shared it multiple times or something like that. But for our purposes, there's the list of people that shared it. And now we can go and we can inspect this web page again by right-clicking and saying inspect, and follow the exact same method by just going and hovering over one person's name and then looking at the HTML code that envelops this guy's name. So you can see again, there is a class _4mo, and it is in the span and strong HTML tag, and there's the person's name. So where we previously had the h3 tag, we now have the span tag, and we've got a different class as well. The only thing left is to just go and update our code so that it will look at the span tag, HTML tag, and the class _4mo. I've updated my code to include the filtering commands to get the HTML, and you can see I haven't changed this. So this is the only thing left that needs to be changed, and we can change that to span, and we are gonna just use that HTML tag because for some unknown reason the class, if I add the class one, it does not want to add anything. So I'm just gonna keep it to the HTML tag span, and now we can go back and we can run it and see what happens. So I'm going to run it again, and now it has scraped the necessary data. So now we can have a look and see if that has worked. So we're just going to print it again onto the command prompt with a for loop, and there is a list of people who has shared it. If we see, unfortunately, there is a little text here to say go to home, which obviously is not a person, but the next one is Sydney. So if we go and have a look, and we can see Sydney is the first person that has shared this post. So we have successfully scraped the names of all the people that have shared the post in question. That's great. We have populated the first two lists, the list that includes all the names of people who have liked your post, as well as the list of people who have shared your post. Now the only thing left to do is to get a list of people who follow your page. Now the problem is that this information is not publicly available. The only way you can access the list of people who follow your page is when you are an administrator of that page. So you won't be able to access any business's page and see who follows them. You will need to be an administrator. Now luckily this whole program is for people that is running such a page, so they will have access to those list of names. We can't use the request library of Python to get these details because we need to use the www.facebook.com URL, and when you access the list you need to scroll down and it loads the list of people as you scroll down, and that command cannot be given by the request library. So we're going to use another library, Python library called Selenium. And what Selenium does, it opens up the browser and interacts with it as if you are interacting with it. So it will go and open up the Facebook page, it will log in, it will navigate to your page settings with the list of all the people, and it will scroll down until all the names are listed on the web page. Only then are we able to scrape that data and put it in a list. Let me show you how to do that. The first thing I did is I've imported a few more functionalities that I'm going to use. One of them is the time. From the time library, I've imported sleep. That is just for me to tell the program to wait a few seconds to let the web page load. As I go through the login and navigating to your page, I need to make sure that it waits a bit so that the page can load before it does the next action. Especially if you've got a very slow internet connection, this will be really useful because it can take some time for the page to load. And if the program wants to interact with the web page and the page hasn't loaded yet, it will kick out an error. So that is the one library that we need. And then you can see we've selected multiple Selenium libraries that we're going to import. One of them is the web driver. That is the library that is going to open up the Chrome web browser, going to log in for you, going to go to your web page settings, and are going to scroll down. Now I've created a class called Facebook bot, and I've added a few functions to it. The first function initializes the bot, and it opens up the web browser and it disables some notifications, because if you go and you log into Facebook for the first time, there is a browser pop-up that asks you if you want to turn on notifications or disable them. For the Facebook bot to continue to your page, you need to make sure that that pop-up does not come up. So I've already added an argument saying disable those notifications so that they don't pop up. And then I've told it to open up a Chrome browser and giving it the options, which is just to disable the notifications. Then the next function is to log in to your Facebook account. These details I've gotten from another very useful video made by Code Drip. He's used Selenium as well to log into his social media accounts, and you're more than welcome to go have a look at his video. I have put the link in the description below. But essentially it's the same here. We are going to Facebook, we're going to log in, and you can see here at the bottom it just says button.click, and it's also going to use my username and password, which I am importing from my secrets Python script. And I'm just going to run this now to show you how it works. So I'm again going to run the Facebook web scraping interactive mode, and now I need to initiate the bot. So I'm just going to say bot equals Facebook bot, and then you will see once I do that, it'll open up this empty browser. Now I'm just going to go and split my screen. So it's open up an empty browser, and now the next thing I want to do is I want it to log in. So I'm just going to say bot.login, and you see there it goes. It navigates to facebook.com, it enters my username and password, and I am logged in. Now for this video, I'm going to navigate to one of a group of mine, which is dormant at the moment. And if we navigate to the top, you will see there is a settings. Now that is your page settings. If we click that and we go to the left, there will be people and other pages. Now if we click that one, it will list the names of all the people that follow your page. Now in my case, there is no need for me to scroll down. All the people that follows this page is shown in one go. But if your page has got a lot of followers, you will need to scroll down. So I will include that in my code, but for my case it's not necessary, but it might be for yours. So the page URL we are going to copy, and we're going to go and tell our bot to navigate to that page, and we're going to do that by saying bot.driver.get, and then we're going to input this URL, and you will see the page just reloads to where it was because I've already navigated to it. But now the bot is at that page as well. And now we're going to tell it to scroll down multiple times. Even though it's not necessary for me, I'm still going to show it, and we're going to do that in a for loop. So we're going to say for I in range 1. I'm just going to scroll down twice, but you can maybe scroll down 10 times, 15 times. That is something that you need to determine beforehand to see how many scrolls is necessary to list all the people that is following your page. And once you know that, you can input it into that range where mine is 2, yours can be 15, 200. It's dependent on how many people follow your page. I'm then going to tell the bot to execute the script, which is window.scroll to 0 to the document body scroll height. So that essentially just scrolls downwards. And then I'm going to say sleep for 3 seconds. So what that essentially means is it's going to scroll down. It's going to wait 3 seconds. Usually that is just for Facebook to load the additional names of people who follow you. And then it's going to scroll down, and it's going to iterate. It's going to do that for the amount of times you tell it. Now you can see it's gone and scrolled down once, and it's just finished. Once all the names have been loaded onto the web page, now we can go and we can scrape all the HTML from the web page and get the names of all the people that follows your page. We are not going to use the request library. We're still going to keep using the Selenium library. So then we're going to create another variable called page, and it's going to retrieve the source code through bot.driver.page_source. You can see there's all the HTML data of the page, and now we can use Beautiful Soup again to go and zoom into the names of those people. Next, we're going to put the content of the page into another variable called soup, the same as we did with the other lists. The only difference here, we did not say page.content, we just said page. And now we need to get all the names. So we're going to say names equals soup.find all. And now we need to first again inspect the web page to see what those tags are that we need to give. So if we click on the inspect and we use exactly the same one, we can click and we can see that the name is enclosed in the a HTML tag and the class is _3cb8. Okay, and we can quickly just have a look and see if we've managed to capture all the names. So we can do that again by printing them out using a for loop and then just printing out the text attribute of the name. That's great. Now we've got all the names of the people who've liked your post, who've shared your post, and who follow your page. The only thing left to do now is to take those 3 lists, compare them with each other, and see whose name is coming up in all those 3 lists. We're going to take those names, we're going to put it into a final list, and then we're going to randomly select the winner. Here you can see I create a variable called eligible, and we're going to say bot. We need to select the winner, and we are giving it the names of the 3 lists that we've populated using our web scraping capabilities. And then we're going to create another variable called winner, and we're going to randomly select a person's name from the list in eligible, and then we're going to print the name of the winner. So now all the coding is done. Let's see if it works. So one last time, I'm going to run my Facebook web scraper. It's going to take some time because it now needs to go again, open up Facebook, it needs to log in, it needs to navigate to the page, it needs to scroll down, and then it will scrape the data from the people who follow the page. And there it goes. My winner is called Matt Snook. He is the winner of my prize. He's liked the post, he's shared the post, and he's also following the page, and I've randomly selected him and he has won. I did not really time this script, but I'm fairly certain it is under 5 minutes. That will definitely save you as this promotional post owner a lot of time when you go and have to decide who the winner is. I've gone and made this script available on my GitHub repository. So if you are a business owner that has just recently done one of these promotional posts, do go and have a look on my repository, download it, put your post ID in there and run it and see if it works. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, do consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.